Hello and welcome again to another live taping of the Was It Good podcast. We're about to kick it off in just a minute here, but before we do that, we have a very special guest, Cardoon from the Emmy Award-winning show, The Mandalorian.
How did we afford this?
I know.
We're just that good, you know? Our booking team, second to none.
We got the best talent bookers.
Jimmy Kimmel, move over. There's a new big boy in town, and it's called the Was It Good booking team.
Anyway, thank you. It's actually not Cardoon. That's a television show.
What?
This is actually Natalie,
Hi.
who is dressed as
Cara Dune.
Cara
From
Dune.
season 2, though, not season 1. So I can't really move my head because of the collar.
Damn you,
if
season
you don't
2.
see me
That's fine. So I was just
gonna have limited movement in season 2. Spoiler alert.
I'm dressed as Cara Dune from pre-season 1, if anyone is
in
wondering.
training. You're in training.
Yeah,
Cara
yeah.
Dune.
I'm preteen Cara Dune.
I mean, so what?
She had a
before
beard?
she combs her hair,
wow.
and yeah, she has some facial hair.
Hi, Tim Johnson. Hello,
I wears
welcome.
glasses.
Thanks for joining.
Tim Johnson.
I'm
Tim
actually-
Johnson. I know Tim's my friend.
Yeah.
I'm actually having
I feel
neck
like I know
issues
Tim.
myself.
You are.
So I was on vacation
Oh.
and I decided to scare someone. So I ran to the corner to try and scare them. And when I jumped out, my neck went into spasm.
Wow, that's just instant comedy.
I just turned 31 too. It was like
Yeah.
a day in.
Was it? You try to scare Lauren?
Yes.
Wow.
And my neck went into spasm. So
That's what you get.
I can't move properly either.
Wow.
So
I wouldn't be doing us justice if I didn't do to you what we do to our June all the time. Who's Lauren?
just a friend.
Wow.
What? Well, unbelievable. Oh, Tim.
Miss you too, Jim. Miss you too, Jim.
Tim.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Tim.
You haven't had anything to drink yet.
I'm
been a
tired.
long day.
It's been a long day.
Hi, Tim.
It's
Hi,
not
Tim.
Mando
I met
Monday,
you a
it's
couple
Mando
times.
Friday.
Mando Friday. We should go ahead and hit that record button.
Yeah, we need to record the cameras.
Yep. It's all the way over there, and I'm all the way over here.
You're the one who sat us.
I know. It's almost like I didn't think this through.
Oh, shit. Well, we just lost our. Don't worry, Lauren. Don't worry. I know exactly how to enact revenge for you.
We know where he lives.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Ravi, can you clap it? No. 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 There you go.
Cool. So Lauren's my girlfriend.
Boom.
There we go. Boom.
Boom.
Oh, I have a girlfriend too. Her name is Sahara.
Shut up.
Krishna, what's your girlfriend's name?
Oh boy.
Art.
Anywho, we're gonna start the podcast right about now. In 3. Oh, and those tuning in on the Facebook, the Insta, or the Twitch, and the YouTube, definitely hit us up with questions, comments. This is very heavily spoiler driven for Chapter 9, Season 2, Episode 1. The Marshal, the Mandalorian,
Chapter 9.
the Marshal. So
Book 2.
if you don't want the entire episode to be ruined, then leave, but then come back.
But if you do want the entire episode to be ruined, you should still watch anyway.
That's true.
It's very good.
There's actually a segment of people who don't care about anything we watch and just tune in to watch us make fun of ourselves. So,
Well, that's
actually
rude.
the bulk of our audience.
yeah.
That's
Our
I
parents.
don't like that at all, actually.
And that's about it.
We're professional.
Here we go. What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of Was It Good? We are discussing a thing, and now we will discuss it. It includes an ugly green thing, bald people, that one guy in that episode of The Office, and some other elements we may or may not discuss on this episode. I'm your host, Ravi, the Oli Ramgopal, joined by my brothers Krishna, Fuckface, Ramgopal, and Arjuna, that bastard we all hate. Ramgopal. And last but not least, we have a special guest, Cara Dune, played by professional cosplayer Natalie. And now, on to the show.
You realize this
That
is like a sick hybrid.
Amazing, yeah.
A sick hybrid?
I wrote the first line of this intro,
I wrote the
and then
rest.
Arjuna wrote the rest.
Wow. So did you call yourself?
That bastard we all hate.
Wow. That's some self-hatred right there.
It's interesting writing.
Yeah.
You know, you have to deal out all the insults equally.
Wow. I never
I wouldn't
have taken that view. At
Yeah,
all.
being called the Oli, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, because you hated being called ravioli.
I didn't really hate it.
Oh,
There-
I
was-
thought you were saying oily.
Wow,
Am I
that would
oily?
have
And
been.
I was gonna say oily. Wow, like
Yeah,
Way to
you,
hit below
you
the
are
belt.
kinda, You
Yeah.
are kind
Am
of
I?
oily.
it's a
You are a
little
little
shiny.
oily
It's
right
a little
now.
warm in here, so.
Anyway, we are definitely going to, the one thing I noticed about this intro is it doesn't actually say that we're discussing The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. So let me, 10 minutes into it say, we're discussing The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. Good job, writing crew.
I thought you put that in the first.
Well, I didn't. And also, hopefully, they can read the title. So,
Yeah.
I mean, can people read
I
titles?
don't know. Hopefully.
Do people read titles?
I don't know.
Are we all titles?
Yes.
Bringing it in, we're kind of going back here on the podcast how we kind of used to do things, where obviously the episodes are very hyper specific. This one is obviously about Mandalorian Season 2. And to kind of kick things off, Arjuna, our crackhead producer over here, usually watches the
Yes.
episode and then he kind of gives a recap.
Mm.
And Natalie, as you're kind of our guest
Oh
here,
goodness.
I'd like you to read this.
Oh.
I don't want to read it. I want you to read it. Now, just to preface this real quick, Natalie has not seen this. She's reading Arjuna's recap blind. I'd like
Chapter listing.
It's chapter listing, right? So basically, it's kind of a recap of what happens in the episode. Now, you know Arjuna. You know kind of how he thinks a
His
little bit and
humor,
his
yeah.
humor. So try and read it how you think Arjuna
Oh goodness.
kind of wrote it. Like, what was going in his head? Is he doing it in a SpongeBob voice? Is he doing it like the GOAT Tom Brady? That type of stuff.
That guy's not the goat.
He's not. He's an asshole.
Okay.
But go ahead. This is Natalie reading Arjuna's DVD chapter listing recap of The Mandalorian.
Gamorrean wrestling. To Tatooine, bitches. Droids are cool. Moss, not Isley. Friendly with the sand people. Boba Fett! JK, it's the guy who always plays a cowboy. Dragon! Let's hunt some dragon. Definitely friendly with the sand people. Attack! Bad breath. Oh, he did. Blow it up, bitch! Bloody pearl. Yum. It's the real Boba Fett! Oh my god! Oh, there were also 2.6 million cute cutaways of the child.
Wow. That was the best idea you've ever had to have Natalie read Arjuna's chapter
I don't know,
listing.
how close was I?
Oh, it's far more. It doesn't matter. It's far more entertaining than anything Mavi's ever read from that section.
sure.
So
I read it how it was
incredible.
typed, like capitals and
It was beautiful. You
Thank
really
you.
did justice to my art.
you're dead with DED instead of DEAD. It spoke to me.
Cool with a K.
Yeah.
Cool with a
Cool
K.
with a K.
The Bloody Pearl. Yum. What the fuck?
To Tatooine, bitches.
I mean, they had the Dragon Pearl, which I'm pretty sure has shown up in other.
It's an Easter egg of
it's a-
some
it's a-
kind, but I don't know.
I
what
believe
it
it's in
is.
KOTOR. I believe in
It's
KOTOR.
expanded universe
yeah.
stuff. Hardcore.
But anyway, the it's a bloody pearl.
Okay,
like
thank you. I also said Tremors, Lauren. I was like, this is Tremors. He said Dune, like the sandworms. It's all over the place.
Yeah, and what we're specifically talking about is the big ass dragon, or preview to the new Dune film. Or
I said
a
Beetlejuice. I
or-
said the worm people from Beetlejuice. What are those things called?
I've never seen Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
You guys have never
What?
seen Beetlejuice?
yeah.
No.
I only know Beetlejuice is the giant star outside of our galaxy.
Beetlejuice is Michael Keaton.
Oh, that's nice.
Is it really?
Yes.
You learn something new on this podcast every time you listen, so make sure you subscribe.
I'm
What a
just
plug.
shocked you guys have not seen Beetlejuice.
There's a lot
Like,
of classics we have not
Yeah.
seen, unfortunately.
Sandworms. Okay, thank
There are
you.
sandworms.
Yes. And that
Anyways.
explains why when I said, "Oh, it's from Beetlejuice, the worms," both of you looked at me with blank expressions.
We were just
Okay.
both like,
And just so our listeners are aware, we're getting live commentary here from twitch.tv/wasitgood. So if you're listening to this podcast at a later time, we usually are now taping the Mandalorian podcast live on Friday evening /afternoon/evening. Afternoon usually comes before the evening.
wow.
Fun fact. Like I said, this is an educational podcast for me.
Okay. Yeah, you learned something.
I learn something every single time. So kind of moving this little hype train here, the other fun thing that we like to do when recapping something specifically is our one-word impressions.
Yes.
So basically, you recap the entire episode, movie, whatever we're reviewing in one word.
And it can be related to anything, right? Like, it doesn't have to be the whole episode. It could be something, the experience or a specific aspect, like whatever stood out to you. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Are those the rules?
Those
'Cause we
are
haven't done
typically
this-
the rules.
we haven't done
Them
this in,
be
like-
the rules, and they gotta be one word.
what is that? What was that?
I don't know.
Was that your Timothy Oliphant impression?
No.
He just wanted to say damn.
Yeah, I wanted to say them.
Them corners.
Them be the rules.
All right, well, who's going
So
first?
I'm going to go first here just to kind of kick things off. And the one word that I'm going to come up as my one word impression is going to be montage. We got a couple of montages, and it made me reminded me that we had a lot of other montages in The Mandalorian, and this show heavily uses them. It's not a bad thing. It's just that anytime I see it, I think of Team America, and
Family
we're
Guy?
going to use a
Wow.
motherfucking montage.
Yeah.
Montage, that song.
to show the passage of time.
Show the passage of time, kind of speed stuff up. It's not like I said, it's not a bad thing,
Yeah.
not necessarily a good thing. It's a thing.
Interesting.
It's a neutral thing.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on your own personal preference, I guess.
Exactly.
I love montages.
They're fun.
I
Good
love
for
them.
you.
I love them.
Arjuna, what would you say your one word impression is? Thanks,
Fat.
Arjuna.
Fa? I heard fa.
Ah!
Favreau. Favreau
Favreau.
is my one word. Mostly because, despite being the showrunner of this was the first episode Jon Favreau actually directed of his own show. Fun fact.
What
because-
what a lazy motherfucker.
Because the first season was in production at the same time The Lion King was in post-production. So even though he was a showrunner, he wrote the bulk of the scripts. He handed it off to a series of directors really to direct the first season. So this was his first stab at directing, and I had very Favreau feelings about it.
Oh.
So it's not good or bad. We don't know yet.
It's very Favreau.
You're very Favreau.
Very
Yeah.
Favreau.
I feel like this is probably a positive thing.
Favreau.
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 Favreau?
Favreau.
Stop it.
Favreau.
Stop it.
Favreau?
Natalie, what was your one word impression?
Timothy.
Timothy.
Ew.
Timothy?
He's
Wait,
still dreamy.
Wait. Is it elephant or elephant?
Oliphant.
It's elephant.
Thank you.
Oliphant.
Thank you. Thank you.
But if I had to, if I was given two words, I would have said skinny Mando because the armor doesn't fit him. It makes him look super skinny. And this sounds so screwed up saying, but I was like, oh my gosh, that person probably has cancer or something because they were so skinny. I thought it was maybe a girl in there, just so tiny. And then took the helmet off. And I was like, oh,
I thought it was an extra they found.
that's
So
fair.
when I saw it, I thought Halloween costume gone wrong.
Wow. I mean, I loved it because when I first saw it, I was like, it's Boba Fett, but it's all wrong. It's hideously wrong. It's all gone wrong.
That's what I was about to ask. Did anyone sitting here actually, when they saw the
No.
armor, think it was
Yeah.
Boba Fett?
No, I immediately was like, someone stole his armor. Ugh, I hate
I
them.
said Django and then was corrected.
Oh,
Yeah.
he got beheaded 50 years ago.
Not
Yeah.
50 years ago.
40 years ago?
It was about
36
30
years
something.
ago?
36
32?
years.
Okay.
36 years.
13? I don't
So
know.
his head's decomposed a little bit. We
This is
do
the
know
fu-
Boba kept it.
Exactly. This is
Wait,
the future.
what?
He could put it in a fucking jar, some weird shit.
Wait, do we know that Boba kept it? We just see him pick it up and look at it.
Well, he picked up the helmet.
yeah.
We never saw
Oh,
him.
right.
Yeah.
Krishna, in the golden rules of movies and TV shows, if you never see something killed or disposed of, it means that they are alive and kept.
Just like
Darth Maul.
the Mandalorian's clan, we just see their armor in the end of season 1, and I've rewatched the season finale multiple times just so I can make this point. It's never said that they're actually dead. It's just that they discarded the armor because they knew they would be found, and that's their ultimate sacrifice.
They Boba Fetted it.
They Boba Fetted it.
Oh, yeah. Sarlacc petted it.
Made a hashtag now.
Boba
Yes.
Fetted it.
Boba Fett did it.
Boba
Fett
Fett it.
Krishna, what would you say your impression that is one word would be?
Kind of like Natalie. I wish I had two words, but I'm just going to take the first word. Easter.
It's a great
and
holiday.
obviously- Yeah, it's a great. It's
I like it.
wonderful. Lots of chocolate and bunnies. My two words would have been obviously Easter
Bunny?
egg. Yeah, I was like trying to think of something else, but yeah, Easter egg. There were so many very interesting Easter eggs in this episode. Some of the ones that just come to mind right off the bat, right? Timothy Oliphant's speeder.
Oh, yes.
Clearly, Anakin Skywalker's one engine of his pod race.
Well, we don't know if it's the exact one.
Blah blah
It
blah.
could because first of all, because we know Anakin was a scavenger. He scavenged parts to build his pod, so it could have been from a very common ship, a very common engine that he probably also scavenged off
We
of
already
in
Googled it.
Tatooine.
Yeah,
Preach!
no.
Preach!
Wow.
Preach! I agree with him.
Never do that again.
Okay.
Wow.
fine. What happened?
Wow.
No, it was horrifying,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
and I thought you were a Karen for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good. Good.
no.
good. Also go out and
Anyways.
vote.
Another one that, I don't know if this one's confirmed or whatever, but when the 3 Tusken Raiders are standing outside of the cave, the sound that they make to get the Krayt Dragon out is the same sound that Obi-Wan makes in Episode 4 when you first see him, when Luke is surrounded by the Tusken Raiders. You remember Obi-Wan comes out in his cloak and he's like, "Rawr, rawr." It's almost the exact same sound. It's like, oh, Krayt Dragon.
So
and
you're
he
saying
even says it.
you're saying this in the forthcoming Obi-Wan Disney Plus show. These 3 Tusken Raiders will show up and teach Obi-Wan that. That is the whole purpose of that show, to teach him
Oh, boy.
that
The Krayt Dragon, sound?
But they were
Clearly.
eaten.
They, well, no,
They could come back once they're digested.
Well,
it's pretty
were they
strong
eaten or
acid.
did they get acid?
Yeah, well, we don't know. 'Cause
Maybe
they
the
are
acid
Some were eaten,
teleports
some
them.
had acid.
Unbelievable.
Some had both.
Any other Easter eggs?
I mean, there's a bunch, and we're going to get to them. I don't want to say them
well,
all.
I'd like to. I know. I think we should transition into those Easter eggs right now.
Okay.
Well, we said the pearl inside the Krayt Dragon.
We
Yep.
think might be an Easter egg, right?
We think that's from
I'm
expanded
sure
universe.
It is.
Yeah.
We just don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, right.
You believe Cobb Vanth's speeder
Wait.
is part of
Cobb Vance?
Cobb
Any relation to
Vance.
Bob Vance of
Vance's
Vance Refrigeration?
No, Vanth. Vance.
So we should talk about
Well,
well, copy, right?
Well, before that, there's also R5 lived.
R5, yeah.
So it is confirmed that's R5 from episode 4. So
Yeah, so which one was R5? Oh, so, okay.
So the Jawas are trying to sell Uncle Owen an R2 unit or an Astro Droid unit, and R2D2 punches it or zaps it, and I remember assuming that droid was dead, but looks like
Just had a bad motivator.
had bad mover, got a new one, and is good to go.
Mm.
So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Another was just like all the clothes. Some of the extras or the background were wearing clothes that could have been from Rogue One or from Hoth or from and not Endor. What's the other? Like Batu. It was just scrap.
Yeah. So did you get like Rebels or Resistance vibes
Definitely. Certain buckles and things were recycled from other
from it? Yeah.
costumes. So
Your eye for detail on the costumes it almost betrays you. It's like,
Would you say
it
that?
ruins it for you?
hate
Would you
it.
say that's would you say that's like a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's clearly that they're rebel.
Okay.
Like you look at me, you're like, oh, okay, those are good guys. I mean, they may not be rebels, quote unquote, but they're good guys.
Oh, okay. So invoke the feeling of.
I mean, some of the villagers, one of them or two of them, were wearing Hoth hats, Hoth trench trooper hats, that they just dyed beige and
Sand
weathered
color.
up. Yeah,
Tatooine color.
Tatooine sand.
And
color.
then they got killed by acid.
no.
They survived Hoth only to die.
Only
I
to
want
die
to know
by
what
acid.
those little monsters were that kill the dude. He shoots the light out.
Oh.
I wonder if they're Easter eggs too.
Vampires.
I don't know what they are though.
You right there, producer?
We just froze for a second.
We did.
No
We
big
did. I
deal.
just saw it on here.
No big deal.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
did that happen?
I don't know. You tell me.
Internet's been a little spotty lately, so
Well, maybe you should fix it.
Are we unfrozen?
We are
we're
unfrozen.
back.
Lauren, they do pod racing on Tatooine, or they did when the Hutt cartel was there. But since Jabba died, they haven't really said if there's another Hutt that's taken over. So we don't know if it's continued or not.
Yeah, Lauren, go back and watch episode 1. God.
Is episode 1 better than Spider-Man 3? Yes.
Oh, that's tough.
Wow.
or
I never
yes.
saw
Are you
Spider-Man
ch-
3, so I can't say.
Wow, what a great question, though. That's a poll. Anyone who's watching right now, was Spider-Man 3 better than Episode 1, The Phantom Menace? We're going to put out a poll later on Twitter. Definitely, because that is a great question. That's a great question.
A couple other big Easter eggs. Obviously, at the very end of the episode, we see a man wearing a dark cloak with a couple of weapons strapped to his back, watching as the Mando and the child across the dunes with the two suns setting.
Yes.
Turns, looks at the camera, has a couple scars on his face. He is bald. Nope, it is not related. He's not related to Krishna, or is Krishna.
But
It's
would be
Krishna?
a great cosplay for me.
Yes.
Yes, actually.
Because I can just eat a bunch of pizza, get some scars, and I'll be good to go.
Christian,
And
you
have a
don't need
big
to gain any
fuzzy
more weight
robe.
to be him.
Huh? What?
You're so mean.
He's probably right.
It's that COVID-19 pound, man.
Oh, yeah.
More like COVID
Too many 190, am I
right?
Oh.
So the internet theory right now is that character or that person or that individual that we see is none other than the beloved character known as the Boba Fett.
Wait, can I just throw out one other thing?
Sure.
Just to play devil's advocate. Now, I 100% believe it is Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way it could be Commander Rex?
So you're not wrong. It's possible.
Yeah.
But the thing with Commander Rex is it's been confirmed that he was on the Battle of
Endor.
Endor.
But he didn't die, though,
He did not die
Yeah.
That we saw.
that we
Right.
saw.
Right.
And it just doesn't make sense for his character unless something insane happened.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about it. This man
And there's a
was
couple things
bred
that can
for
debunk
war.
it.
Well, so this man was bred for war
Yeah.
for the Republic.
Yeah.
Republic kind of got screwed up by a crazy man. And then he teamed back up with an old Jedi known as Ahsoka. Was kind of like, hey, this rebel group is fighting for what I was bred for. Survives the whole Order 66 thing. Joins back up with the rebels. Fights for justice and all of that. So for him to kind of go from that to clearly like an individual who's isolated themselves
But
on Tatooine seems a little extreme in a 6-year period.
You also have to remember that the clones, which Rex is one of, has the advanced aging.
yes.
He's already a pretty advanced age by Rebels.
Yeah.
And then this is exponentially, the Battle of Endor is X amount of years after Rebels. He's probably
dead.
dead
Or
or
at
really
least like-
old at He's
Like
really
Yoda. Like
he's-
Yoda-esque.
He's probably near the end of his life at this point.
So I can think of pros and cons for both.
Well,
of them.
there's one more big thing too.
Yeah.
Outside of Star Wars universe, in terms of what we see on screen, the actor who plays that character is I may butcher this, Tamora Morrison.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, a casting call document leaked, which clearly shows his name for the Mandalorian,
Spoilers.
and then says Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
even before that, his agency put out a tweet
Yeah.
that he was coming back as Boba Fett.
I think right
So-
here. I think right here on this show, we even said we even had the discussion: is it Boba Fett or Rex? And I
Yep,
think
we did.
the contention, I don't know the word, but we decided that it was probably Boba Fett.
Well, having said that, there's nothing to stop Rex from showing up later in the season.
Yeah.
If they did sign Tamara, he could, in theory, when Ahsoka shows up at some point in the season, show up with her. There's nothing stopping that.
So, but here's the thing: maybe it is Commander Rex. Maybe this is like one of those. Maybe they're trying to pull like a switcheroo, like a gotcha, or they want us to think it's Boba because we've seen the Boba armor. Rex has isolated himself before.
Sure, between episodes 3 and 4.
And I believe it was on a sand planet that we see the rebels run into him on a sand planet. Him and 2 other clones. So he's no stranger to sand planets and being alone. So but yeah, maybe it's like the old gotcha. Like we're trying
But
to trick you.
the thing with Mandalorian and let's ignore the sequel trilogy. They've never really done like a haha, gotcha, motherfucker.
So
Like I don't know why you would all of a sudden be like, what's the payoff there of like a got you? Like there's a whole lot of information and shit being thrown at pointing towards it. This character is Boba Fett. Like the line
no,
that
for sure.
that Cobb Vanth says about the Sarlacc pit, and the Sarlacc pit is empty because the dragon went and killed the Sarlacc. That gives us a reason as to how Boba Fett could have survived the Sarlacc pit, because
Yep.
if the thing's dead, then yeah, he can kind of crawl out or do
Yep.
whatever, or be spit out, or however that works.
Yeah, and I think thematically with the episode, it's all about legacy, right?
For sure.
It's all about Mandalorians and the Boba Fett legacy. And, these shows are so inspired by Westerns, and this was a very
Yeah.
Western episode.
So
And it thematically would just make no sense for him to be anyone other than Boba Fett.
I think so. And now that I think about it, right, in terms of this story, We know Ahsoka's appearing, right?
Yes.
We know that Ahsoka's probably we know she's attuned to the Force. There's no way you're gonna tell me she doesn't or couldn't sense Baby Yoda if she was nearby. So what's to say that her and let's say Commander Rex is still around, that they're not tracking Baby Yoda, hence why he's there potentially spying on them.
So one of the early theories I heard about why, like when Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda have these two children, Luke and Leia, they need to hide it from their dad, Vader.
Yeah.
So they stuck Luke, who
On a sand planet.
because it's dead,
Force
and
dead.
it makes it
Yeah.
harder to isolate or find within the Force.
Sure.
So if that's true, I don't know if they would be able to track in that way. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but Ahsoka's a little bit special though, right?
Ahsoka?
Yeah. She can do things that, the regular Jedi
She can do
can't
plot device. Yes.
Sure. And what?
Anyway, well, let's throw it back to our chat real quick because there was a question that came in earlier. Before we get to that question, Lag and Cheese, did we watch a nice Star Wars? Yes, we did. Where's Thrawn? Is Thrawn in the show? Thrawn 2020. You know what? If Thrawn...
Wait, this
was
is
an actual leader.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait.
Wait, are you saying Thrawn or,
Yeah,
or like
he's-
Thor?
No, he's saying Thrawn.
He's
He's
Thrawn.
just misspelling it.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're totally
okay,
misspelled.
Thrawn.
Yeah.
There
But
we
remember,
go.
I had a theory. I think my theory for the show is that Thrawn will appear, and it'll be Pierce Brosnan playing him.
I hope so.
Oh, based off
That
of,
would be interesting.
Based off of our Star Wars celebration trip where they had the big mural and there was a Thrawn who looked
Just
like
like
Pierce Brosnan.
Conspiracy theory. I have looked back at all of our pictures
find
and
it.
video from that trip. I can't find the fucking banner.
I know.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't know if we had a joint hallucination, but I can't find it. Anyway, one of the early questions that we had, and Natalie, you asked this as well. Was it?
I didn't ask it. I said.
You said it.
Yeah.
Crowdy Chuda. I don't know.
No, it's
Chowder.
Crowdy
Crowdy
Chowder.
Chowder.
Crowdy Chowder.
It's Robbie.
Chowder.
Was it Boba who walked up to Fennec Shand in season 1?
I would say likely at this
I was
point.
asking Natalie.
Oh, sorry.
Way to be rude.
No, it's fine.
Who's Fennec?
Fennec is. We told you Mulan.
The actress that
actress is
plays Mulan.
Ming.
Oh, gotcha.
The other
Sorry.
episode that took place in Tatooine
Yeah,
in
yeah.
season 1.
Okay.
I personally didn't do this research, but I know some people who freeze framed the scene shot by shot by shot,
Oh my god.
and looked at the shadow of the costume and matched it and said, "Yes, it's Boba."
Wow. Wow. People need to get a life.
I'm like, that's awesome. You did that much research, and if it's true, then you will be proven right.
Oh my god. So I have a question. Here's my question, right? Let's just go with the popular theory. It's Boba. What do we think his motivation even is at this point in his life? What is he doing? What drives him to do anything these days?
Well, I still think he's a bounty hunter in some way, shape, or form. That's what he's known his whole life. It would be strange if he still didn't follow some type of bounty hunter creed in his life.
Or Mandalorian.
Well, he's never really been a Mandalorian, though, right? He's a clone of a Mandalorian.
Right, but his father, Django, raised him. So what we know of young Boba Fett, right? We know in episode 2, he's young Boba Fett. He's a clone. He hasn't gone through some kind of hyped-up aging process. Django is raising him to be a son and in the ways of Mandalore.
Kind of. Django walked away from the Mandalorians, too, remember?
Well, they
become
kind
a
of kicked
bounty-
him out
Yeah, but there's still...
because he was an extremist.
He still has some conflicts with the Mandalorian way.
Sure.
So he doesn't, and he only raises him for a certain amount of time. As we saw in the Clone Wars animated show, he gets taken in by bounty hunters and really comes up the bounty hunter way, which makes me feel like he's going to run into, the Mandalorian at some point in the show, and the Mandalorian's going to expect him to have those Mandalorian ways, but he won't because he has the bounty hunter ways, and so that's what's going to be interesting because. They're both similar, right?
They're both bounty hunters.
They're both bounty hunters, but Mando is more Mandalorian than Boba is.
Who is, and Boba is biologically more Mandalorian than Mando.
Right,
is.
he's genetically
Biologically.
he's genetically a cloned Mandalorian. Like
Right.
he's like the actual.
But he has less Mandalorian values.
Yes,
He's a
Than
bad
bad
Mandalorian.
that's what I think they're gonna set up for in the show.
That's
and
really cool.
And throwing back to our chat here, which you can always join on twitch.tv/what'sgood. Again, the Chowder Man asks, why doesn't he want his armor back?
See, that
Because
is the
it's a piece of shit.
no.
Well, think about it.
That is the crux
Look
of
at
the
what happened
whole.
in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the crux of the whole thing, right? Like, Timothy Oliphant's been running around with this armor for a few years at least.
Right.
Why hasn't Boba taken it back? Because he could. We know Boba's a badass,
Do
right?
we though?
Well, let's okay. So
You're right.
He looks cool, but is he an
I'll
actual
say
badass?
this in the
Captain Phasma.
You're right.
in the Clone Wars
shit.
series, he did as young Boba. He was able to
Mike
bring
drop.
he was able to bring an entire Star Destroyer down by himself.
Wait, who?
Young Boba Fett
Oh, yeah.
in the
yeah,
Clone
yeah.
Wars series. So
Yeah,
he
but
had
maybe
something.
Maybe he sucks. Maybe I don't know. Drink when they say
Could
Mandalorian.
be many things.
Who?
Well, you'd have
The
to have
viewers?
actually alcohol to do
Oh yeah, yeah.
that.
If you're in the, if you're watching us right now and you want a cool drinking game, every time we say Mandalorian, drink.
Drink your entire drink.
Oh, my drink's empty.
Oh, I thought they were saying we should take a drink.
I
No,
think
I'm
that
good.
should be the people watching us in the
okay.
chat. Go ahead and have fun. We'll give you permission.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I would
I
think
don't
what
know.
is the consensus between the four of us? Do we all agree that that is indeed Fett?
I think so. I like playing devil's advocate, but at the end of the day, I think it is.
It's
I
got to
think
be
it's
Fett. And to go back to the previous question with the previous episode, that's obviously Fett as well. I think the theory at that time was it was Moff Gideon, potentially being the one to revive her, if I remember correctly.
Because he was still on the planet.
We hadn't met him yet, and
Is that episode 6 that
it's like
she-
5 or
right.
6. Yeah,
Right.
and so there's theories because we knew Giancarlo was coming, but he hadn't come yet, and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe he's the one that's
He's Moff
reviving
Gideon.
her, and we're like, oh, she didn't show up in the finale, so I think it makes much more sense that it is Fett.
That does make sense.
The other thing that will be super interesting is, remember, Boba Fett has a legitimate hatred for Jedi. Mace Windu, who is a Jedi, killed his father.
Oh.
He spends most of the Clone Wars trying to kill Mace Windu.
See,
Out of
that's
revenge.
that's a motivation.
That is, yeah, he wants revenge for what was done to his family.
He wants to kill Baby
So
Yoda.
he will probably go after the child, not Baby Yoda.
I'm calling it Baby Yoda, okay, because it is Baby Yoda.
His name's gonna be like Phil or something. I don't know.
I
like,
really
they're
hope
gonna
so.
give him like
It should be
you know
Neil.
how like the official
Neil.
Star Wars is he's the child. They
Yeah.
should have called him the baby because he has more baby qualities.
But
Like,
here's the thing,
he goes
though.
gaga goo goo and he's like
He does.
la, 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 or a toddler. You know what I mean? Like that would have
Yeah.
been. But
The toddler?
the child is the child is like what you think of like a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old like a child.
That's what I think of.
He's less of a child.
Oh, what's this? Someone just followed us. Oh, Robbie? Robbie wasn't following. Robbie, I feel betrayed. You weren't following us until
that was
just
quite
now?
the noise in
I know.
our ears.
That was
What
a
a-
very fun sound, though.
You're
That-
welcome.
That gave me a heart attack. My blood pressure is through the roof right now. That's hilarious.
But I do think I wonder if Boba is almost being set up to be like the Moff Gideon of season 2. He's kind of like
I think I think
bad.
Moff Gideon is gonna
Is
be the
the
Moff
Moff
Gideon.
Gideon.
I don't
Season
I don't
2.
I don't think he's gonna show up.
What? That would be bold.
Okay, Arjuna, is that going to be your
That's
season
your
2 bold
main
prediction?
No, it's not gonna be my prediction. Of course he's gonna show up.
Stands for something.
But
I
I
already
wonder
know what
if
mine is.
I think he's gonna show up in a different way, for sure.
Nice.
Not with a platoon of stormtroopers charging a bar. Like,
He's gonna show up with
the man
droids.
has a glorious cape and a dark saber. He's gonna come in style in some way. And he's going to say, "You have something I want." I can't do his
You
voice.
have something
But-
I want.
There you go.
That's actually
yes.
pretty good. That's really good.
Creepy.
So moving this choo-choo train along here, Arjuna wanted us to bring back an interesting
Wow, Aaron. What? We're really discovering who's not following, is not subscribed to us. We're calling you out.
Why are you shaming these people?
Because they should have been following us from the
But
beginning.
they are now.
It's funny because they're regular
so-
followers of our show. They've watched multiple episodes.
words.
I'm
They just
trying,
haven't been
guys. I'm
following.
sorry.
It's so hilarious.
So anyway, one section that we like to do here is because we are very opinionated, big surprise. Arjuna has volunteered to give our episodic or weekly or whatever you want to call it rant of the
shit.
episode, Arjuna. So what is your rant?
You have a
and
rant?
then Arjuna,
Do.
we're changing the format a little bit here. You can go and you can rant, but then we get to rebuttal.
Yes.
And you can't
Sure.
interrupt the
I'll-
rebuttal.
You can't interrupt the rant.
Okay, go ahead.
Fair
All right, my rant.
That was a great
Oh, wait,
rant.
are you
Thank
giving him like a minute? Like debates,
should
kind of?
time
We
it.
really
You have-
should do that,
You
actually.
have 1 minute. Kind
Somebody
of thing?
count to 60. Krisha, count to 60 in your head.
All right, and when you start, I will
I
start.
can't. What do you know? It's actually working.
Okay, here we go. So my rant is going to be how I pretty much felt about this episode, and I felt the episode was not up to standards of the first season of The Mandalorian. I thought some of the CGI looked cheaper. I thought the story and the script was not as good, and I don't want to say how which way I'm leaning yet, because I think I could be swayed one way or the other, but I was disappointed by Chapter 9, The Marshal. I thought it was, after waiting a year, which is, pretty typical of what you wait for in between seasons, I thought that this was, of the 9 episodes, the worst episode of The Mandalorian.
Wow,
That's all I
you
need.
didn't even need the full 60 seconds.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Shit. Impressive. Wait, you thought that was the worst episode of the 9?
Yes.
You've forgotten some of the episodes from season 1. There were
No,
some
no, I
kind
did.
of boring episodes.
I remember.
So
Oh,
my
yeah,
rebuttal,
sure.
hold on. Here's my rebuttal. It's actually a question. Not a
You
full-
get 30 seconds.
Well, it's just a question.
get one.
It's just a question. Are you going into... Did you go into this episode with the mindset of this is a new season? Kind of how we do, like, the easiest examples, like Stargate, right?
Yeah, of course.
Remember how, like, Stargate would start? It's like a big, big thing, like... the big bad guy is doing this thing, the story changes, etc. Or did you go into this with the mindset of we had Chapter 8 and now we have Chapter 9?
No, I went in that this is one continuous story, and my issue was the production just felt cheaper. Everything just felt more rushed. When I watched that first season, it just felt like there was more time and energy put into everything with the show. While this just felt like it was going through the motions. The shots weren't as beautiful. The CGI wasn't as crisp. The dialogue wasn't as good. Like some of the dialogue to me was episode 4
Recycled,
bad. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it was like, well, let's lock in our inner George Lucas and make the shittiest dialogue we possibly can.
Wait, what's wrong with episode 4 dialogue?
So I mean, some of it's bad. You have to admit, like if you go back and
No, it's all incredible.
Arjuna, what kind of TV did you watch this on?
uh,
No, I'm just saying. What size TV was it? 4K?
yeah,
was
50,
it? What was the hertz,
58
frame rate, all that?
58-inch 4K.
4K.
Yep.
Internet was stable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna argue a lot on the CGI because I will give you. There was that one shot where he's driving into town, and
Yeah.
and you can see behind him that looked like
All
acid
the
shit.
speeder stuff looked like shit.
That I'll agree, but the stuff at the very end where they're fighting the big dragon, that shit looked crisp.
The dragon did look good.
Yeah.
Like the whoever
centerpiece of the episode?
The dragon did look good, but to me, some of that other stuff just was not good.
Couple
And distracting.
Couple interesting comments, and I don't know how much. I don't know if any of these are true, but the first one is COVID and Disney losing money. I don't know if that.
Well, they
Because
definitely.
COVID wasn't around when they were filming season 2. This was back in.
Was it
well,
Mar- well, it was
they
like
wrapped
March.
in October or September, I thought.
Of last year?
Yeah.
They started filming season 2 right when season 1 came out.
Gotcha.
So this was
Yeah, because they were filming. Sorry to interrupt. They were filming one of the episodes. Gina even said at the premiere, "Oh yeah, I just came straight from set and we were fighting and I'm covered in bruises." So they were filming
So they
back
are-
a year ago
But
today.
This
so.
comment I think is true, and I think maybe that's why I asked the question of: are you looking at this as the start of a new season, and it's got to be up there in terms of whatever, or is it continuation? Is they can't get lightning in a bottle twice?
Yeah, it's tough to do. Like it's TV is one of the hardest mediums because it's hard to be consistent over so many hours, right? You lose steam at some point. And I'm not saying that The Mandalorian's losing steam in hour 9, but it just to me it was a a fall in quality from what we saw in the first 8 hours.
Would you say you think it's almost a filler?
Oh, definitely.
Like,
but it's I don't have problems with filler episodes.
right.
The main issue I had was it just felt like the effort and everything that was put into the show was more of like, okay, now we have a formula. Let's just go and do it. It's almost like, if to use the sports analogy, right? We're just going to go through the motions, run our 15 plays, and, like, get the win,
it,
right?
yeah.
It's not sexy or anything like that. It's not unique. It's just like, okay, we figured it out, and now we're going to go do it. And it just didn't feel special. Like the first season of Mandalorian, even the bad episodes, even the boring ones, like the one you were watching yesterday, the one with the ATST in the village.
I love
like,
that episode.
That episode's probably one of my, like, that's not a great episode, right?
fun.
It's fine.
But
it's
it's still memorable, and it's still there's still elements of that I really think they took their time with, and there's special moments. I didn't feel that with this. This just felt like I'll take The Child for example. I put in the chapter listing, right? The 2.5 million cutaway shots of The Child. You could have taken The Child completely out of the episode,
Yeah, he
and it
wasn't
wouldn't have
needed.
changed anything about it. Everything with The Child was just, how many GIFs can we put in? How many different reaction shots can we put in? It wasn't a plot. For the first episode, it really wasn't part of the plot. It didn't even feel like he cared about the child.
Yeah.
While you certainly got that in the first season. And I'm sure that's going to change and X, Y, and Z.
So on that point, I disagree because there's at least half of season 1, the child is sort of doing exactly what he does in this episode.
Yeah, he's following around.
The show's called Mandalorian, and the Mandalorian, the child is a baby. He doesn't have agency. He doesn't make decisions. He lives there. He sits there, looks cute, and uses the Force in really dangerous moments. That's
still
all
part
he
of the
does.
plot, though. But still,
Yeah.
him using the Force is still part of the plot.
And
then the Mandalorian protecting him,
Yeah.
being chased, is still
but the whole
part
point
of
of
the
this
plot.
episode was him finding a Mandalorian so he could figure out
yeah,
the child
to
and-
get him back to his
which
his
is the
thing,
whole
yeah.
point. So
There's going
he-
to be episodes where the
Sure.
child's more important and
Yeah.
less important. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm not worried about that. I do agree with you on, because I think I said to Ravi this morning, I was like, my only nitpick on this episode was it was probably the most predictable episode of any episode I've seen of The Mandalorian, where I knew exactly how it was going to play out. Because it's very traditional, and Ravi said it earlier, very traditional Western episode. It's very much strangers coming to town, they team up, they take care of a threat, and they're buddies at the end. There's some obstacles in the way, but you know exactly how the episode's going to. The only surprise in the episode to me was Boba Fett's reveal at the very end, but everything else was and that was my only concern with it. I was okay with the rest because to me it looked great. I liked Timothy Oliphant. He added something a little bit different. I like what the appearance of Boba Fett's armor, that whole thing implies a whole other set of questions. So to me, it definitely feels like a filler episode because it's setting up. It's not so much filler, but it's setting up. It's a setup episode.
For sure.
Everything that's going to happen this season was set up in this episode. So I totally understand. I would actually agree that it's one of the weaker episodes. To me, though, I've loved every episode of The Mandalorian, so it's still a fantastic. I still enjoyed every moment thoroughly.
Yeah, and I like episode 4 of season 1 because it has that Western vibe,
Yeah.
which is what this has,
Yeah.
which is hilarious because I remember growing up, Dad would try and show us Westerns, and I was like, this is the most boring shit on the goddamn earth.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, I'm in it. Like, if you dress it up as Star Wars, I'll watch all Westerns.
I
Yeah.
kinda got-
Fucking love Western. That's
it
true.
felt like a bit of the Magnificent Seven mixed with Tombstone mixed. It was just one of those things which takes back to the episode 4, where it's again their Magnificent Seven throwback. Yeah, I agree.
Which, fun fact, episode 4 was the one episode that didn't have Pedro Pascal in it. That was a whole controversy with the Emmys because his stand-in was the one in the
But
the
he
armor.
did the voice,
was
goddammit.
the one in the armor for the entire episode.
But his voice, conveyed so much emotion. Oh man,
That's good. Good
Aaron is
comment.
going off in the chat
I'm
here.
telling you, was it good? Next generation, baby.
I like that. I like that.
The next generation. I don't know. You'd have to tell me.
Before we kind of wrap it here and ask that age-old question,
We have a few things.
two more main things that we're gonna hit on here. We have a section here which is a hot take, something that's kind of controversial. We usually leave that for the guests, so Natalie, that's for you. Is there anything that you want to say about this episode that may trigger an audience?
Oh gosh. Like,
You don't
way
have-
to, way to throw it at me.
Yeah, I know.
I honestly just saw this episode like an hour ago, so I'm still processing it, to be honest. I thought we were all watching it together at 3 o'clock, but apparently other people had a different idea of what was happening. So,
Some of us are impatient, and by some of us, I mean all of us. Are.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I guess
um,
so.
I'll tell these guys, tried to stay up till midnight to watch it, and I fell asleep waiting and woke up at 12:09. Pulled up the episode, scrolled through, saw Cara Dune wasn't in it, and fell asleep. So
That's fair. You have a vested interest in that
So
character.
yeah, there was a reason behind that, and I also thought we were waiting till 3 o'clock today, but apparently that miscommunication was all on my side.
Very polite.
Hot take. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice.
That's the hot take.
Hot take: the Ramgo Bros suck.
Yes, there you go. No, I would say the child wasn't needed at all in this episode. And it was total filler, like, hey, we're trying to sell all this merch.
Yeah.
And yes, he's adorable and he's cute, but I forget which of you two said it, but like, there's the scene where he walks into the fight club and the baby's like left behind. And I'm like, well, but if you were a real father, you shouldn't do that. You should make sure the kid's okay. So yeah, I think the child was not needed at all in this episode, unless he was going to use the Force to like stop the dragon, but he didn't. So
Yeah.
not needed.
And I guess there's a couple things there, right? I was totally expecting Yoda to have to say, I'm sorry, the child,
Thank you.
from saving the day, because I totally thought he was going to force choke the dragon.
Or
which would've-
freeze him.
Yeah,
like
which
he
would have
did
been a
the
totally
Mudhorn.
different level. And it was
I
like
thought he was gonna
teased.
ride the dragon.
Oh, can you imagine? He rides the dragon and makes the dragon.
Honestly, I
tame
was just
like his
surprised.
pet?
I'm
And then he
surprised.
would have said like Dracarys or something.
I'm just surprised. I'm surprised Disney.
Oh,
didn't,
wow.
Disney didn't come in when they were storyboarding the episode and like, wait, hold on. We need to sell more toys.
Yeah.
We need a toy of the child riding a dragon. We need that to happen in this episode. We don't care how it happens. Just do it.
Yeah.
And then the reason I wasn't mad with him leaving the child is because that's one of two moments that shows that the Mandalorian is
Isn't a
painted as this
father?
very gray figure, right? He's not good. He's not bad. He's
Right.
definitely not bad, okay? But he's not all the way good either. One, he lets Cyclops dealer guy, die.
I mean, he
Cyclops
deserved
dealer
it.
deserved it.
Oh, 100%. Right?
Very Batman-esque of him.
I like though.
It
because
was. Oh my gosh.
When you think of Star Wars, you think of Jedi, and when you think of Jedi, you think of selflessness and the greater good and all this stuff. And I like that they've really not forced that onto the Mandalorian, right? And the fact that he, is just like the child can take care of himself. It's like another aspect of maybe it's not necessarily a flaw, but it's like this very human side of him. He's vengeful. He overlooks little things like maybe the baby. I should treat him like a baby instead of he's got the Force. He can look after himself a little bit. Like if I leave him
disagree.
outside.
Look at what happens in episode 4. He leaves the baby with the widow. He leaves the baby with the kids when they're all he's made
Sure.
sure that he's watched.
But the big thing though is
the baby's growing up.
Well, the other thing though is
Well,
remember
he's a child, apparently.
Yeah,
The
he's a
ar-
child. He's not a baby.
the armor.
Not the baby.
armorer said to the Mandalorian, "You now are a clan of 2,"
Yeah,
which means the child's to be raised
like a Mandalorian.
like a Mandalorian.
Oh.
How was the Mandalorian raised? He was put in the fighting corps.
Yeah.
Do you think the fighting corps is like
You don't
"Here,
treat him
little
like a
Timmy,
baby."
come along?
Yeah,
Like they
you treat him like a Mandalorian.
exactly.
I love that.
There you go.
Well, if
That's a
that's
good
true, then
point.
show that. They didn't
Okay.
really
Yeah.
show that.
Well,
They're just like, here,
she said
do
that.
your own thing.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
I mean in this episode
But
specifically.
yeah,
right?
they're teasing it. You don't want to show everything in episode 1. Maybe
No,
episode
but I'm
2,
saying
episode
you
3.
can't have one shot of him,
We saw that. I got that from when he just walks into the bar and leaves
Leaves
him in
the
the
kid,
thing.
yeah, and
to
then
me,
the kid
that's all
comes
you need.
over.
You don't need more than that.
Not only
And
that
you'll
though,
get more as we
not
go
only
on.
that though, but there is also some kind of understanding between the child and the Mandalorian, where it's like if there's shit gonna hit the fan, close your damn lid and wait.
Yeah.
So
I'll kick you out
yeah,
of the way.
there's
And he
some
kicked him. He
there's
kicked him
some
hard.
kind of unspoken thing, and I think that's good television. You don't need everything kind of
In fact,
said.
I would say the baby Yoda, the child, probably has CTE from the amount of times that he's probably kicked his carriage.
Oh boy.
You know, and I'm just saying, it just shows the hard ways of the Mandalorian. You're gonna kick the baby's carriage. Firefight.
Throwing real quick to our chat here. Yes, the Mandalorian is basically Space Batman. Let's just say it. It is the truth. Jon Favreau
So
and
then
the entire team.
who would Moff Gideon be? Would he be like the Penguin? He wouldn't be the Joker.
No.
Hush.
No, he's not. No, Hush
No.
is a dark
Riddler.
well, he's a dark version
I
of
don't
Bruce
think
Wayne.
he's Riddler.
Is that the Hush? I
Yeah.
thought.
Hush is the childhood friend of Batman. They grew up in the same circumstances, but he went crazy, killed his parents, and
Oh,
did all that type of stuff.
I've
So-
never heard of this.
Oh,
villain,
fun.
but I
So
can
Boba
imagine.
Fett might
Interesting.
be Hush if
Wow.
if it goes.
If
that
we're going
route.
to direct DC to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get out of here, let's we want to do our bold predictions because we are going to be doing these podcasts throughout the entire season 2 of The Mandalorian. Natalie, as you are a guest, obviously we're not going to have you on for every single episode, but we will take your predictions here, and when you are wrong, we will ridicule you on social media.
And in person.
And in
which
person,
I'm
yes.
used to now.
Yes.
Oh.
So everybody gets 2 bold predictions here. One,
2?
Yep. One for episode
2.
2 or
10.
episode chapter 10,
Whatever.
and then one overall season 2 prediction.
Nice.
So now that you're the guest, you can go first unless you want a minute to think.
I'm going to predict that this is the last season we're going to see Cara Dune.
Oh, you think she's gonna die?
Oh, so that's your season prediction.
Wait,
Wow.
so
Honestly, I
season
thi-
prediction she's gonna die?
I did not predict she's going to die. I just predict we won't
Oh.
see her anymore. She'll be
Would
written
you-
off to go to a far-off planet or something.
Interesting.
We'll never see her again.
It's a very interesting prediction.
I would hope not, but I just have that.
Is it because
Feeling?
a certain actress said some really stupid things on social media lately?
Yes.
Anyway, your episode 2 prediction.
I think in the next episode we're probably going to see maybe not Ahsoka, but we're going to see that Jedi chick that, or what appears to be a Jedi that's hidden in the shadows in the initial trailer that we saw. I don't. She's wearing like a brown robe, and you see her, and then he turns his head, or somebody turns their head, and it flashes back, and they're gone. I thought that was a Jedi, so I think that might be what we're going to see the next episode, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
some.
shit.
We
I
just
don't
got a
know if
comment.
that's Sabine.
Yeah, we got a comment in here from
Crowdy
Chowder
Chowder.
that it's Sabine Wren, and that's been one of the.
I know that's one of the
theories out
predictions,
there,
but I
yeah.
remember her makeup was like she had markings that Sabine doesn't have, and that's why I thought that wasn't her. But I could be wrong. I haven't seen that trailer in quite a while.
I like those predictions.
Those are good. Those are
So,
great.
yeah.
Christian, what are yours?
My season prediction is gonna be that Commander Rex does appear. I think they're gonna get they're gonna squeeze all the money they can from Tamara Morrison because Disney's almost bankrupt. At least they would have you believe from all their layoffs. So they're gonna
boy.
squeeze every cent out of his contract. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I do think Commander Rex is gonna appear. Maybe we will even have a Boba Fett Commander Rex face off because that would be fan-fucking-tastic.
Do you think he gets extra for that for having to fight himself?
No, no, he does not.
He's his own stunt double.
I mean, he is.
He's
I
an
mean,
old
right?
man.
Yeah.
And my next episode prediction is going to be that it'll take place on Tatooine. He doesn't leave. That's kind of a weak prediction. But
Wait, the whole season or the next
no,
episode?
the next episode.
Oh, gotcha.
Next episode is also on Tatooine.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
The
and,
first-
and the reason why I think is because they set up Boba Fett at that last shot.
Hmm.
So I think it would be
Like he intercepts him before he leaves.
intercepts
something?
before he leaves. Maybe the ship's not done yet. We want a Razor Crest 2.0 reveal. So maybe that's like the very end of the episode. He gets off the planet, but I think 95% of the episode will take place there. Drama.
Interesting.
Arjuna.
My season prediction is going to be we're going to get a flashback episode, a full episode that won't even have the Mandalorian. It'll be about the origin of the Darksaber. It'll star Katie Sackhoff's Mandalorian and explain what happened with the Darksaber.
So who's just so audience members that are listening
That makes a
know,
lot of
Katie
sense.
Sackhoff is supposedly playing.
I forget the character's name.
Oh,
No. I can look
I'm
this up.
blanking on.
One of the Mandalorian
Bo-Katan.
sisters.
Bo-Katan.
Right.
Yep, Bo-Katan. There we go.
Yes. So I think there will be an episode that will basically be a Rebels kind of episode where it's going to have all these characters that have been rumored to appear and are going to basically appear in one type of flashback type episode.
I have a follow-up question.
And it's going to be told from Moff Gideon's point of view.
So, question though. So, before the season started, you were not looking forward to this season because you thought it was going to be Rebels 2.0. If they do this, where it's one episode and it's a flashback episode, and that's
I would
how
like
they,
that. I would like that.
and you'd be okay. with that.
That's why I'm predicting it, because I'm hoping I'm speaking it into reality, and that's the way it goes. Because I
Throwing
think
it into the
you
ether.
know we just did Lovecraft Country, and we were big fans of that. And one of my favorite episodes was the flashback episode they did to the Korean War, and I feel like sometimes in shows that are kind of like this, very detailed, very story-heavy shows, like a flashback episode is a nice way to break up the action, and it provides a lot of context and information. It's one of the reasons people say like the best way to watch Star Wars is what 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6.
The way they
right?
came out, yeah.
So there's something that's nice to a flashback episode because it provides the context that you need, and obviously the hardcore fans, fans like us don't necessarily need that context because we are so in tune with what's going on, but it's still nice to kind of see it played out.
We're nerds.
I don't know. Just on your season prediction, I don't think we'll get a flashback about Bo-Katan or like a Rebels condensed version, just because the show is about the Mandalorian. And even like if we go back to Lovecraft, the flashback still obviously included heavily upon Tick and all of that. I would like to see a flashback in terms of I could see a cross between young Din Djarin, right? That's how you say it.
Yes.
And Moff Gideon, because obviously their paths kind of cross indirectly.
Little, yeah.
I'd like to see that story in terms of what Moff did, because obviously Din, there's an entire massacre that Moff does and that he witnesses. So that could be the flashback episode, which I think would be very,
Well,
very
I think
interesting.
that's part of the episode, right? I think it's around the Darksaber because the Darksaber, I think, is very important to this show. I think it's important to Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon is kind of has been built up as this primary antagonist, the Force against...
He's the chicken man.
The Force against the child. So, I do think there is a link between the child and the Darksaber, and I think a flashback episode could help kind of connect all of those types of things.
I think even more on a surface level too. Darksaber and Mandalorians go hand in hand,
Absolutely.
like Gus Fring and chicken.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense.
I really want fried chicken now.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
and the Darksaber is so intertwined with the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
It would make sense. It might not necessarily connect directly to our Mandalorian, but maybe it does. Who knows?
I think
Maybe he is somehow connected, even though he isn't genetically a Mandalorian. Maybe he is still. He's in line to get the Darksaber.
That's the foil that Boba Fett's gonna set up. He's more Mandalorian than some Mandalorian. I don't know.
Is Boba Fett gonna hold the Darksaber in season 2?
No.
Why'd you say no?
He's
Yeah,
not
that was-
worthy.
No.
He's not worthy.
It would be really cool if he did.
We're
I'm just
mixing
saying.
Marvel and
No.
DC now.
yeah.
Something interesting that did happen today as we're talking Darksaber, a artist on Reddit posted a drawing that they did last night of the Mandalorian holding the Darksaber. And about an hour or two after he posted it, it was tagged with the spoiler tag, which basically means that the image can't be viewed unless you click into it. And a lot of people in the comments were jumping in being like, well, why is it getting a spoiler tag? Does somebody know something that, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought that was interesting. But in terms of my predictions for season 2, I think...
I didn't give my episode prediction.
Oh, did you not?
No.
Oh, well.
That's
We
cool.
went off on a tangent.
I can go.
Yeah.
I can go fuck myself. It's fine.
Great. Cool. So can I go then?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
No, my episode 10 prediction is that it will be better than episode 9.
Wow.
Yeah, so you could have really gotten fucked off. That was great.
You gave that prediction last year when we did this fucking show. Cool. So don't you come at me.
Cool. So original over here. So my season 2 bold prediction is going to be that Ahsoka will look at the child, and then something will happen.
Okay,
that
you,
is
no. You need
shouldn't-
more specifics.
Well, okay, fine. Ahsoka Tano and the child will cross paths.
Cross.
Cross paths. Whether that's within the timey-wimey Force universe or if that's physically in person.
Okay.
Boom.
That's kind of,
It's a little better.
Seems informed.
It happens.
yeah. All right.
And
It
then-
seems like he read something on Reddit.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then for episode 10 or episode 2 of season 2, I predict that we'll get a look at the new updated Razor Crest, where the only changes that I've been able to tell are that the engines have gone from this weird back like claw looking thing to a round cylinder thing.
Oh. They opened them up?
No,
So
it's like instead of it like open, they're like little jagged pieces. Like think of like a hand
Yeah.
where there's like fingers. It's just one gigantic cylinder
Oh,
now,
they made
He
it boring.
installed air conditioning.
basically.
Ah. They made it boring. The claw thing's cool.
Needed the air
It's not
conditioning.
cool.
and heat.
It's cool.
the space.
It's cool.
It's
cool.
Cool.
Look at that.
It's cool, man.
Before we close out, Natalie, thank you for being on the pod.
Thank you again, guys. For
But
having
we do
me.
have to ask that question,
Mm.
which is, was Mandalorian the Marshal good?
Oh.
Oh dear! Whoa!
Wow.
I wouldn't say good. I'd say it was okay.
Well, this pod is called "Was It Good?" We gotta go yes or
So
no.
it's yes or no.
Okay,
no.
yes, I'll go yes.
Well, are you sure though?
Love backing
Well, it
people.
wasn't
okay.
bad. It wasn't,
wasn't bad.
So
But
I'll
if
say
it wasn't
was
good,
It was good. I think just the hype was what ruined it in a way.
Sure.
You know.
sure.
So, yes, it was good.
Broadsode.
That's how I felt with Rogue One. The hype was too big, and
Yeah.
it just didn't.
Well,
live
you
up to
hated
expectations.
Rogue One.
I cried.
Yes, you did.
I'll admit that.
But
all
it's
these years
been
later.
the most redeemed movie in your eyes ever,
Oh yeah, big time.
which is great. That's a good thing.
It's a good
Still a
thing.
flawed movie.
Big time
Oh,
flawed.
God.
Vader is fat.
To be honest, though, the best movies that you love are always flawed. Nobody loves a perfect movie. Nobody.
Crowdy Chowder, yeah, Rogue One may be the best, but Vader is the fattest I've ever seen him in.
What?
that.
He still
He is
looks
so
good.
wide.
What are you talking about?
Vader just looks wider than he usually
I think
looks.
he's just obsessed
Did you
with
watch
the
it on extra wide screen?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that sounds like your TV settings are.
So now you get to ask one of us one of these two dingleberries.
Arjuna. Was it good?
I'm gonna say no. It was not good. I'm gonna take what you were feeling and just take it one step further.
oh
and say,
shit!
it was not good. I was disappointed by the episode. Granted, now maybe expectations were too high. But I just
Did you cry afterwards?
No, I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I honestly just sat there and thought about it. It's like, yeah, this episode was too long. There were just faults with the production. I thought the dialogue was weak. It was to me a big step down from the first 8 episodes. And I mean, hopefully it's not a trend, but we'll see.
Can I change my bold prediction?
Go ahead.
Arjuna won't say any episodes of season 2 are
Or
good.
good.
Wow. What?
Well, the reason I went with Favreau for my one-word impression was it was a very Favreau episode.
It was.
I kind of talked about it being cookie cutter and
Did you
done
know?
as, like, a
Did you
production.
know that it was Favreau before you watched it or afterwards?
I knew after.
Okay.
Did not know before.
Okay.
It fits certain
yeah.
beats though, and it totally had a Favreau feeling to it.
Yeah.
So I agree.
And to kind of go back to Christian's point of it being predictable, like Favreau movies, especially his blockbusters and stuff that he directs, are very predictable. They're very obvious, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes predictable is nice, but it didn't. It just felt more cookie cutter to me than I think what we've seen before, and. I don't know if they announced all the directors for this new season. Like, it wasn't like season 1 where they did this whole big featurette of like all the directors
The
forming like the
Avengers.
Avengers.
I do know we get Robert Rodriguez.
And we get Dave Filoni for an episode. So
That'll be wild.
I'm excited for
Right.
that because what I really like about the show is when different directors come in with their different styles and can kind of implement them into the Star Wars universe, and you get different tales and stuff, and that's kind of what
When are they going to bring George Lucas in to direct episodes?
he's banned.
He's not even allowed on set. Just
That's
in
not
case.
true. That's not true. I've seen the footage of him and Kathleen Kennedy, buddying up on the set of Mandalorian.
What?
So.
Both those people should not be
You
allowed on
chubby
set.
Darth. Oh
Yes,
my God!
chubby
Look
Darth.
what you started in our chat.
Okay, Krishna
No,
was the Mandalorian. Chapter 9, the Marshal. Good.
it was good. I love
It
the
was.
action. I love the action. I thought Timothy Olyphant did a fantastic job as skinny, not Boba Fett. I thought the reveal of real manly Jango Fett lookalike Boba Fett at the end was amazing. I loved that. I loved it. It wasn't the most mind-blowing episode, but to me that's a good thing. I never want the first episode of a new season to be that mind-blowing, because to me, if you start off too high, more times than not, it goes down.
Yeah.
And there's so many seasons of television that you can point to where it starts like that. So I'm okay with like a very entertaining, enjoyable episode that teases some things in the future, sort of reminds us what world we're living in, just shows us where Mandalorian and Baby Yoda are, what they're doing, and
The
how
child.
they're doing. Thank you.
Jay Woods.
Jay Woods for following us. We really appreciate that. My speech has convinced you. Clearly. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm very excited for episode 2 and the rest of the season. Ravi, thank you for a great show.
You're welcome.
No, I'm just kidding. Ravi, was Mandalorian Chapter 9, The Marshal, good?
Yes. Big fucking surprise.
I'm very shocked.
Really?
No, not really.
No, I thought it was great.
Nice.
Listen to the podcast again if you want to know why I think it's good.
Nice. Well done.
Yes. Natalie, thank you again for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
Is there any places that our viewers can find you? Not your home, but on the social internet.
Twitter, I'm Movie Lover for Life, and on Instagram, I'm Leia Aurora.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you like seeing amazing cosplays, you should go check those
I
two
just
out.
realized I'm not wearing all my armor. I forgot my pauldrons.
You're Cara Dune relaxing.
No, you're Cara Dune podcasting right now.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at myself.
No,
yeah,
Cara Dune is podcasting
Like,
right now.
dang
Cara
it,
Dune
I
doesn't
have
need.
the tattoo, but I forgot the pauldrons. Anyway,
Amazing.
Thank you again. Thank you for those watching, listening. Again, you can find this podcast live on Fridays on twitch.tv/wasitgood. We will be doing these every Fridays in the afternoon and the evenings. Again, you can find us on Twitter at wasitgood and on Instagram, wasitgoodbtm. We do have a new look on Instagram that's launched. Please give us feedback. Tell us if you like it or if you love it. Anything else, I don't really care.
Nice.
That's how you should really do that. But once again, thank you for listening. And we're probably going to keep it up a little bit for the Twitch audience.
Yeah.
For sure.
Chill for a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
only 7 viewers. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For us.
For us, that's actually very good. Yeah.
Goodbye
Hey.
to Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.